Nintendo Switch fan, New Super Mario Bros. 2 is underrated, even though really generic. Collecting coins is useless but fun for some reason, and the DLC is pretty good. That's something that I would agree with. 3 out of 5 spiciness, mainly because for that last point, if you had stopped a little bit earlier, maybe I would have given you a 4 out of 5, but the DLC is pretty darn solid. Super Mario says Splatoon 3 is pretty bad as a Splatoon game. I think Super Mario over here is just a little bit jealous that there's another game that's rising up in the ranks in the Nintendo genre. They don't want a new rookie in Splatoon to overthrow Mario as like the top dog in Nintendo's franchise's mascot. So Super Mario might be a little bit scared of Splatoon and the Inklings coming up and taking some market value. I think this is a 3 out of 5. Mudkip says got some Mario sports games hot takes. Sluggers is by far the best one. I feel like we're starting off with a very lukewarm take. Nothing crazy. Gameplay fun. Yep. This is all agreeable. Miles better than Superstar Baseball. I like Superstar Baseball, but I can understand that Sluggers is better. Again, still very tame takes. Not as overrated as Mario Golf Toadstool Tour, though. This game is nowhere near as fun as people say it is. All in all, we're going to balance that out and give you a 3 out of 5 on the spiciness scale. I personally really love Toadstool Tour. I grew up playing it. That's how I learned to golf. Luco says Super Mario Bros. 3 better than Super Mario World. Also, since it's basically the Mario Kart channel, I gotta say that Singapore Speedway is pretty mid. Now, I agree with you on that first take. I personally prefer Super Mario Bros. 3 over Super Mario World. I feel like that's the less popular opinion, so I will give you a 4 out of 5 on the spiciness scale, especially comparing your second take, Singapore Speedway being pretty mid. I personally really like it, but I can understand not many people liking the city tracks in general. It's an understandable take. Marker 7 might be the best one in the series when considering only the core driving mechanics and tracks. It's got a fantastic retro selection like I mentioned before, but yes, the glider is a lot more free than in Mario Kart 8. And the underwater graphics I've just never really liked before, so, you know, it is what it is. I do respect the take. I'm gonna go 4 out of 5 because I think based off of driving mechanics alone, it's just karts. There's no bikes in the game, and like the tricks almost feel a little too floaty. News alert says Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon is, in my opinion, the best Luigi's Mansion game out of the 3. Wow. I'm gonna go 5 out of 5. I've heard a lot of great things that people have talked about the original and about Luigi's Mansion 3. I've tried to play Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon. I got through like the first world or 2 worlds, I think, but I just got bored of that game, man. I'm sorry. Jamie Piccioni thinks Mario Kart 64 is the best retro marker game. I don't know why, just is. Also, Toad's Turnpike is my favorite track in the game. I don't know what you consider retro. If you're only talking about the first 3 and excluding Double Dash from that, then that's a solid take. And you know what? I'm just going to give you 3 out of 5 in general. Like, it's kind of spicy, but it's also kind of not spicy. You know, you got Super Mario Kart and Mario Kart Super Circuit to contend with. If Double Dash was in there, then, you know, that's also a tough contender that might be a little bit more spicy. But between those first 3, I can see and totally see that 64 being the best marker game is a valid opinion. Swak Revelk says Super Circuit easily top 3 Mario Karts, got tons of fun and wacky shortcuts. Now, I like Super Circuit. Super Circuit's a good standalone game, but it's in a series with so many bangers that it's so hard to put it out of like the bottom 3. You got DS, Wii, 8 Deluxe, Double Dash. Like, where do you put Super Circuit in that ranking? I'm sorry. Respect the take. 4 out of 5 spiciness. Man says Super Mario Odyssey is the worst mainline 3D Mario game. Most of the game is relatively bland with the exception of New Donk City and Peach's Castle. Otherwise, the worlds are uninspiring and Cappy is overrated. That 5 out of 5 spicy take. I love Super Mario Odyssey. I love playing it. I love replaying it, but I also love watching the Mario Odyssey speedrun scene. I think it's just anti-recency bias in my humble opinion, but regardless, 5 out of 5 take though. It is very spicy. Jacob says Mario 64 is the most overrated video game of all time. It's just a mediocre Mario game with unusable controls. People wouldn't care about this game if it was released later than it was, but that's the whole point. Obviously, we're spoiled now with incredible games across all platforms. Not even talking about Nintendo. Obviously, if Mario 64 came out on the GameCube or on the DS or Wii, it's a basic game. It's almost like a tech demo in a way. 120 stars that people can clear in under 2 hours, but you could say the same about like Super Mario Bros. On the NES. It's just a basic 2D game that obviously wouldn't do nearly as well if it was released even a couple years later. But you gotta have a first game, and that is why people love 64 so much. That's why they re-released it on DS with slightly more content and more characters, and it still lived up. So you gotta think of the minds back in the day. 5 out of 5 spicy. Julab says Breath of the Wild is overrated, but it's a good game. Nintendo Switch Sports could be a good game, and Nintendo work much on the game. And Smash games are the best to play with friends, and we're playing competitive. I'm going 2 out of 5 here. There's nothing in here that like kind of shocks me. These are all mainly true statements in my humble opinions. Whimsical says, I doubt not many people know what this is, but We Play Motion is one of the most underrated games ever. Also, Mario Party 9 is the best game in the whole series. We already talked about Mario Party 9. We don't have to worry about that again. But based on your We Play Motion, yeah, I do not know what that is. I know We Play, but I don't remember We Play Motion, so I can't really comment on that one. I guess I'm going to have to, by default, go to your Mario Party 9 comment. 3 out of 5 take, because we've talked about this already. You know, I just don't like it as much as some of the others. But again, a lot of you guys that grew up with the Wii days, you know, that like Mario Kart Wii, that like Sluggers, all that sort of stuff, like Mario Party 9 as well. We Have Fun here says, Paper Mario Sticky Star is a good game. It's just a terrible Paper Mario game. If there were no Paper Mario games to set a high bar, a lot of people more would love Sticker Star. I think that's a solid take. I'm going 2 out of 5 because I feel like a lot of people would agree with that reason. If you just stuck with the fact that Paper Mario Sticky Star is a really good game, hot take. But if you left in the reasoning saying it's a bad Paper Mario game, or if it was the first Paper Mario game, people would love it, I think that would be true. Lapidot says Kirby's the best series Nintendo has at the moment. Outstanding music, great level design, fascinating lore, and always adding new ideas to keep the game fresh, all while having really enjoyable and underrated spin-offs to help bridge the gaps between main entries and smash it at indie game characters. I would say 4 out of 5 because best series that Nintendo has at the moment, when you got Mario, Mario Kart, Zelda, Metroid, F-Zero, no, not F-Zero, I just, you know, I tried throwing F-Zero, and bro really tried throwing F-Zero, that was me, yeah. James Games Pokemon Sun and Moon is better than Pokemon Sword and Shield and Scarlet Violet. I feel like that's not that bad a take. I think that's a 2 out of 5 because I've never heard as many people complain and bash a Pokemon game like Sword and Shield and Scarlet Violet. I thought Sun and Moon were generally, you know, liked. Last stand, I'm going with the bonus take saying Mario Kart Tour has the best roster of any Mario Kart. It's true. I've said this before, that if you take out all of the clone characters and the Mii costumes, you still have an incredible roster full of characters that have never appeared in any other Mario Kart game before and probably have never been playable in other Mario games at all, period. I'm gonna go 3 out of 5 because I think it's spicy, but like, again, if you discover and look at it, it's not that hot a take in my opinion. Preston and Tom saying Pikmin 4 is the worst mainline Pikmin game. Main reason, not being able to freely aim your Pikmin at enemies and objects kind of ruins it for me. There are more reasons, but that is the main one. I streamed all 4 of the Pikmin games last summer and it was a really fun experience. The worst one in my opinion was Pikmin 2. Pikmin 4 I had a good time with. It was relatively fun. Again, would also be a huge pain to, I guess, fully complete, but at least you can fully beat the game as opposed to Pikmin 2, which got the 2 random credits schemes. So I guess Pikmin 4 also has the, man, are Pikmin 4 and 2 more similar than I think? Maybe. Regardless, 4 out of 5. Pikmin 4 out of 5 stars. Cat says Animal Crossing is one of the best Nintendo. Not even going to read the rest of it. That is a 6 out of 5 spiciness. I'm breaking the scale. Bulk Block says Mario Party Island Tour has 2 of the most underrated boards in the series, Shy Guy Shuffle City and Bowser's Perilous Peak. The gimmicks of both boards makes the singular line towards the end a non-issue for me personally. The song for the latter board being mentioned, the remix of the 64's Bowser Road, is also a top notch. I feel like you're onto something there. And I liked Island Tour as a game. Out of all like the new games that started from Mario Party 9 onwards with the new linear mechanic, Island Tour, shockingly, was my favorite out of them all. And the boards weren't that bad, and the fact that everybody can also be on their own, that's what I liked about it. But I would have to go 4 out of 5 because underrated boards in the whole series, when you got some iconic ones in some of the earlier games, throwing these 2 in there that not many people know, yeah, that's a pretty spicy take. Fullback says not one Paper Mario game is bad, and also there should be just as many Xenoblade reps in Smash as Metroid, as those are 2 series, in my opinion, the same in terms of importance for Nintendo. Xenoblade being a lot more newer of a franchise with 3 very important games for Xenoblade X, and Metroid, which really just got a revival a couple years ago with Metroid Samus Returns and then Metroid Dread, really bringing down the house with an incredible 2D platformer that we needed in our lives. I'm going 4 out of 5 in general. I don't know who you would include in the Xenoblade series. I guess you already got 2 characters. You got Pyramithra and you got Shulk. And you got, what, 3 or 4 Metroid reps? So just add 2 more Xenoblade characters and you're good to go. Gizo Game Size, I don't like Sunshine, even though I adore 64. I feel like that's a lot of people's takes. Like, there's really nothing spicy here. That's a 1 out of 5 spicy because I feel like that is a very common take. Christmas Pterodactyl, what a username, says the decision to not regress the Zelda franchise to the old formula is a good one. If Zelda franchise was created to provide a specific experience, and it finally was able to after 36 years. If people want the other form of gameplay, then they can find it in non-Zelda games. Now, I think this is referring to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom being almost like the perfect Zelda games, and none of the other games being a formula that the Zelda game should not have employed, but we're more so working towards the perfect formula in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. 4 out of 5 spiciness, even though they're basically saying Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are perfect games, but to call the other Zelda games not that great in comparison, or games that you should look for in other games to get that same sort of formula fixed that the Zelda games almost pioneered, you can say, is kind of crazy to say. Coin says, I enjoyed playing on actual racetracks in Marker 8 for Wii U's battle mode. That is a spicy take. 5 out of 5. If anyone knows Marker 8's battle mode on Wii U, it is garbage in my humble opinion, but I guess some people actually liked it. Peachy Fanboy says RPG was very mid. I found virtually nothing memorable about it. Gino Mallow, nice character design. I just don't care for Gino leaving. As long as Mario Rabbids Sparks hope exists, you never see me go back to that ever again. In fact, I'd rather play Mario and Luigi Paper Jam over that. Sorry, by the way, you're not gonna hurt my feelings. I literally just got into Mario RPG within the last couple of months. I played the whole game through. I wasn't expecting myself to, but I ended up doing so anyway. I'm going 3 out of 5. Arces has a couple of hot takes on here, but I gotta focus on the most important one. The fact that we should have Nintendogs on the phone. Yes, I'm with it. I would absolutely play Nintendogs if it was on the phone. I never got the game on DS, but if that came out on phone, absolutely. I wouldn't mind taking care of a virtual dog on phone for sure. 2 out of 5 spicy. I'm cool with it. Bigger Blue, if Nintendo implemented a party chat feature to their consoles, they would be twice as popular. Are you saying they would sell twice as many Switches? Because the Switch is now the second most selling console in history, just behind the PS2. Like, they're going crazy with Switch sales right now. I'm going 5 out of 5 spiciness here. I don't think it's going to make Nintendo twice as popular, but it might sell a couple of consoles. Carter Violet Yoshi has so many takes. I'm only going to focus on a few. Grumble Volcano on the Wii is the best racing game track of all time. Wow. That is a steaming hot take. I love Grumble Volcano, but like, best racing game track of all time. I'm curious what about Grumble Volcano specifically you really like. GameCube being the best Nintendo console, and Marker 8 Deluxe not a top 3 marker game. I guess we're sticking with the Mario Nintendo theming here, which, you know, makes sense. Overall, spicy takes, 4 out of 5. I mean, my nostalgia would make me agree with that second take, GameCube being the best, but I know with the Wii and the Switch being a thing, it just doesn't make sense for me to think that the GameCube's the best. KBV says, I want Waluigi to stay as an assist trophy rather than become playable in Smash, and I don't want to see Gino be playable either. I don't know what you got against Waluigi and Gino. Some people are not going to like Waluigi and Gino. I'm going to go 4 out of 5 spicy. It's pretty spicy, but, you know, not the spiciest thing I've ever heard. Blue Bat Star, Pokemon should not get voice acting. The anime's voice acting is horrendous, and I have no faith it will be any better in the games if they add it. It better be without, especially knowing Pokemon wouldn't be able to disable it. Oh, that's true. I don't think Pokemon has had any voice acting, at least in its games. I don't mind the voice acting in the anime, if I'm being honest. I haven't watched too much of it, so I guess I'm not necessarily sick of it. Someone with a more critical eye than me can, you know, make the decision whether voice acting in anime is good or not, especially when it comes to Pokemon. I'm going 3 out of 5 because I think it could be a little bit of a spicy take. Potato 44, Bone Dry Dunes, one of the best tracks in Market 8 Deluxe and does not deserve the hate it gets. It absolutely deserves the hate it gets. It's just an orange, somewhat circle with bone piranha plants. 4 out of 5. Ben Lechner says, Animal Crossing is so boring. I don't get the appeal of it. It's like those lame mobile games where you have a farm. Oh! Let's go. Oh, let's go. I think that's like a 4 out of 5 take because there's a lot of Animal Crossing fans out there. But I mean, I'm with you. Mia says some people are saying Switch games look bad because of the hardware, but the Xenoblade Chronicles games and Zelda games are showing us that it's not the case, since games can look amazing. Now, here's where I think the logic can kind of go off a little bit. I'm going to say that's a 3 out of 5 spiciness because it's right in the middle. Yes, when Nintendo is developing their games, they can use full advantage of the Switch's hardware, run it to its full capabilities while still leaving a good amount of performance in there and not sacrificing it for graphical quality. Xenoblade 3, Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom, and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, even some other high-end definition games are proving that Nintendo can make very good-looking games for the Switch. The problem comes with third-party games. Look at NBA 2K. I bought WWE 2K18 way back in the day. Mortal Kombat 11 and Mortal Kombat 1, like third-party massive games. The Switch physically cannot handle some of these games to run on the hardware. 3 out of 5 take. Luigi Dude with 2 hot takes. People only started to care about the Ice Climbers after they weren't in Smash 4, and Mario Galaxy is overrated and a downgrade from 64 and Sunshine. I'm gonna go 5 out of 5. This is a very, very spicy take. Ice Climbers weren't the only characters excluded. People were worried about Wolf was not in Smash 4. Like, there were in Snake, there were characters that were just not in Smash 4. That's a 5 out of 5 take. But also Mario Galaxy. I love Galaxy, man. I mean, I get why people don't like Galaxy, but oof, I had a fun time with it. Peachy Showtime. Mario Kart Wii is by far worse than Tour and 8 Deluxe. There's a lot of other reasons why people love Mario Kart Wii than just those things. I like all 3 of those games. I love Wii, I love Tour, and I love 8 Deluxe. All 3 of those games are phenomenal Mario Kart entries. So I'm gonna go 4 to 5 on the spicy scale. I just don't think there's a full understanding on why Wii is so beloved. But yes, having iconic tracks such as Coconut Mall, even though you also got DK Summon, Toad's Factory, Grumble Volcano, Maple Treeway, Koopa Cape, Rainbow Road, Bowser's Castle, Dry Ruins. Like, there's so many other tracks in the game in Wii that people love. I respect the take, but it's still pretty spicy for me. Don Rennes says Origami King, the best Paper Mario game. Never played a Paper Mario game. I can't comment on it, but I've heard really good things about Origami King. Apparently its soundtrack sounds a lot like Final Fantasy. 3 out of 5 hot take. Nothing too crazy here. Base Fishing says Wii Rainbow Road in 8 is ruined by the anti-gravity, is pretty much what he is saying. If you had all the 90-degree downslope and then the cannon and then all the twists and turns not in anti-gravity, I just don't think it would have worked as well, simply due to the engine that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe runs on. Driving down that massive slope, I just don't think would have been nearly as satisfying. It would never have been as satisfying as it was on Wii, because Wii Rainbow Road was perfect for Wii. It's going to be so hard to replicate that magic in 8 Deluxe. 2 out of 5 take. Nothing too crazy. I think we've heard this before. Cole Brimble thinks Super Mario Advance 2 is one of the worst Mario games. I'm trying to remember which one that was. That's on a Game Boy. Is that with Super Mario Brothers 3? Or is that with Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island? Like, that's like a combo game with one of those ports on Game Boy Advance. I don't remember which one that was. I've never played it. I'm gonna go 3 out of 5. I feel like Advance 2 is just one of those ones that exists. So the fact that this game just caught a random stray from you is kind of hilarious. Penultimate take. We got Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing better than Mario Kart Wii in almost every way. The music is way better, and so are the track designs. I don't hate it. I love Mario Kart and Mario Kart Wii, as you guys know. But Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing is kind of brilliant as its own thing. It's fun. It's unique. I like all the cameo crossover characters. The kart design looks cool, and the track design is also fun. I felt more inclined to play Mario Kart Wii because I was more comfortable with the controls. I think that's the only difference, but wow, that is a gem of a game. I'm going 4 out of 5 take because that is pretty spicy. Our last take of the day comes from Spence the Wentz. Mario Kart DS is mid. 4 out of 5 take. Which hot take did you agree with the most? Which hot take did you disagree with the most? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching this incredible series. Let me know if you want to see more of these types of talking videos. Let me know what you think of the setup. We got the new space, so hope you're excited with what we got working right now. Thank you to all my members for being so welcoming, for being so patient, and also supporting me, this channel, this journey. I really appreciate that. Thankful I'm able to get these videos out for you guys still, so I really do appreciate that. Thank all of you guys for watching. Subscribe if you are new. Stay all pro, and I'm out of here.